How's it going, guys? Shane here from the GnG Elite DBS team, and today I'm just going to talk about not necessarily a tournament report for me from Orlando, but kind of that way. I didn't do very well in either event, so we're just going to kind of talk about my matchups, what decks I played in both events, how I liked the event, things of that nature. Nothing too extravagant. So I did play in Orlando with my boys, same team I played with in Atlanta, me, Marcus, and Trevor. We've just been friends for so long that that's the way we like to do things. And we played the same decks that we played in Atlanta. Marcus played the Shenron Super 17 deck. I played the Broly Veggies deck, and Trevor played Janemba. And we did switch up the table seeding, though, which I do think people look a little too deep into that. You can't really look too deep into seeding. It is just kind of random chance. I don't think everyone's planning to put certain things in certain places, besides the fact that I do think most teams are putting their best player in the middle just to help the other two. I think that's the only real thing that's actually a thing. Something we wanted to do, but when I signed the team up, I didn't really think about that and just kind of threw us in there, and I really would have liked to have Marcus in the middle, even though he was in C. So for the team event, I did play Broly Veggies. Here's the list I played. It's a little bit different than the list I posted the week before. The last few days leading up to it, I had some more ideas for the sideboard that I really liked, so we went that route. I did want to play a 1-up Hidden Power East Supreme Kai. I would have rather this be Champa, but Trevor was playing Champa, and I just kind of trusted myself to not forget to announce Double Strike. And that's just pressure I'd rather put on myself than somebody else, and I did never forget, thankfully, because I freak out about forgetting to announce that all the time. I only used it once, really, but to be fair, it was a one-of, but it did win me the game that I used it, so that is worth noting. Other than that, we did kind of lower the red count a little bit, for the veggies anyway. 4 Kale, 2 Kaba, 4 Caulifla. I felt like 12 red was too much, and I did want to put a Supreme Kai, which would have upped it even higher, so we did trim 2 Kaba, which felt fine. I didn't miss the Kabas whatsoever. Very, very rarely was Caulifla missing with 6 targets. 4 of the Frieza still, just because we want to awaken as fast as possible. And I did add 4 Trunks Bridge to the Future just to increase our green count, which worked tremendously. I never felt like I was starving for green energy like I did in Atlanta. And he helped us dig towards Kabas and other things, helped us dig towards Shugesh, dig towards Power Overseeing Time, and overall I thought this was a great addition to the deck. Then, of course, 4 Kaba, 4 Caulifla, 4 Kale. Again, this veggie deck's pretty standard. We did trim Goku Black down to 3 since we added the Trunks. 23 green felt great. I will say 23 felt absolutely perfect. 4 Shugesh because we're playing teams and we don't have to worry about Cronoa as much. I believe I only played against Cronoa once. Let me check my notes real quick. I believe it was only once. No, it was twice. I think it was just once. I think it was only round 3 against Kami House where I had to play against Cronoa, I do believe. Maybe twice. It might have also been round 2 against Mark Pacheco's team. I forget what they were called, but they ended up making top 8, so congrats to them. I think his name was Mark Pacheco. It's Wavy Q and the Geo guy. I forget all their names. 3 Expo Spirit, Kid Goku, just because most of the decks, their big game enders, don't have barrier, so he's a little bit better, and he's also a blocker when he comes down. You can also attack him and he untaps. This card's really good. With Shugesh. 2 Power Overseeing Time. Honestly, I would have liked to have 3, but I don't know what I would have cut. You could cut the East Supreme Kai since it wasn't that useful for a 3rd Power Overseeing Time. This card just ends games. It's so good, especially in this set where you can get back Shugesh and Kaba. We did go down to 3 Bloodlust just to help make room, which felt fine. I didn't miss the 4th one that much. 2 Planet and 2 Times Magic. Going down to 2 Time Magic didn't feel all that great, but at the same time, I think it was the right decision. You're an aggro deck. You're not trying to be defensive. It's just kind of there just in case. And in a best of 3 situation, you don't feel compelled and forced to main deck them. You can just throw them in the sideboard, which is what we did. So I think 2 was the perfect number in retrospect. Moving over to the sideboard, I played 3 Father-Son Kamehameha. This was mainly for Baby, which I ended up not bringing in against Baby. Actually playing against it with this deck made me feel like I didn't really need it, so that was kind of a waste. But the thought process for Father-Son was Baby and Demigra. 2 more Time Magic, just for, like, if I played against, like, the Path to Greatness decks or any of those other OTK decks, like Shenron Gogeta. I did play against Shenron Gogeta once, and I brought him in, but I never played against the Path to Greatness deck. 3 Vegeta striving to be the best. This was for if their deck's Big Bomb had Barrier, or in other deck, or in like a matchup where I just wanted as much combo power as possible, where I'd take out the Bloodlust and the Time Magics for more combo power. I don't know if I ever brought him in. I don't think so. I think I brought him in against Shenron Gogeta just to have extra combo power, but that was about it. No, I had it was against Shenron Gogeta. I'll go into that later. There was a neat interaction that almost happened, but he played around it. 3 Haru Attacker Majin. We're at aggro deck. Just helps, with that. And 3 Burst Energy Super Saiyan Bardock. This card was really good against Janemba. So we lose really hard to Striving Goku. And with Janemba fueling our Yard Force, it's real easy to slam the Burst Energy Bardock into play. And when he comes in, he's a 30k attacking into their active mode Striving Goku. And they can't really combo over that when they've tapped out to play him. So this card was really good against Janemba, and I absolutely loved it. I think y'all should really consider him. So that's it for this deck list. I'll go over my matchups real quick. Round 1, we had to play against PPG again, which was awesome. I love playing against those guys. Rios, Andrew Duvall, and Jonathan Rodriguez are all really great guys. They're really great opponents to play against. We never have a bad time playing against them. I played against Andrew Duvall, who was playing Baby. And I believe I won game 1, he won game 2. Or it might have been the other way around. But in game 3, we were like down to the wire. We were both. I had a big board, but I was only at 2 life, and he had a very small hand. And he had Chain Attack Zeno in hand, which had he played Chain Attack Zeno, he probably would have won. Well, no, I think I had Bloodlust in hand, so I don't know. It's hard to say, but it might have been enough. I think his attackers there probably would have sealed the game. Even if I bloodlusted it, but him and Rios were talking a lot, and they opted to go for Chain Attack and a Digging Deep. I think part of their reasoning for that, though I'm not sure, was because they hadn't seen Time Magic in my deck yet. In either game, I never charged it, I never played it, so they never saw it, so maybe they thought I didn't have it. And if I don't have if I don't have Time Magic, then Chain Attack and a Digging Deep makes a lot of sense, because it applies a lot of pressure. And it would have won the game. Like, I would not have had the combo power to go over all of it. But I had Time Magic for the Digging Deep, so he played Chain Attack into Digging Deep. He attacked with Chain Attack, and he comboed, I think, his last combo card onto it to make it 25. And I was able to combo over it. And I think I had maybe 5k combo left in my hand. And then he attacked with Digging Deep, so I Time Magic it, so it doesn't untap. And then all he had left to attack with was his leader, and I was still at 2 life, so he wasn't able to end the game, and I was able to get it next turn. Now, granted, he could have top-decked the Champa, and that probably would have won in the game, but luckily he didn't. I'm not sure if he was even playing Champa. So that was really fortunate for us. Marcus did get a game loss, game 1, against Jonathan Rodriguez, because he randomly decided to pick up his life and shuffled into his deck. I'm not sure how that happened. Maybe Marcus can go into more detail about that. But Marcus did also beat Jonathan Rodriguez games 2 and 3 because, Shenron Hand Control does really well into these mono blue decks, and Jonathan, of course, was playing the Hirudegarn deck. So we started out 1-0 against PPG. That was really good for us. We were really happy. We felt like we were the hottest guys in the room. But then round 2, we played against I believe his name's Mark Pachica and WayBQ and all them boys. Geo something. I'm sorry, I can't remember your last name. It was a long weekend. And I had to play against Shenron Gogeta. Excuse me. So, game 1, I was able to snag game 1. Game 2, I gave myself a game loss. We didn't even bother calling the judge over, because even if they didn't give me a game loss, I feel like it should have been a game loss. So I just scooped that game. Because the tables were so small and I couldn't put my warp like above my deck. I forgot to shuffle my warp into my deck, and I didn't notice till after I'd already drawn my hand and set my life. So I just scooped that game because, in my opinion, that should be a game loss. Game 3, he laid down Striving, and Burst Bardock doesn't help as much when it's harder to feel the yard, I found out, which is unfortunate. And I just was not able to end the game fast enough before he, pulled off his combo. And this is where Vegeta Striving almost came in handy. He World Peaced in the 4-drop yellow SR Vegeta from set 5 with Barrier, and was very close to giving it triple attack to swing for game on my 2 life. But my last 2 cards in hand were Shigesh, Vegeta Striving, so I would have blown it up, because with triple attack it doesn't untap till after the battle phase is over, so it would still be tapped when Vegeta comes into play, and it would have popped it. But he did have a Gogeta 5 in hand that he opted to play before going that route, and give the Gogeta 5 the triple attack, which meant my hand was useless. So, good for him for taking the safe line and not misplaying. That was good on his part. Had he not, he probably still would have won, but it's hard to say. No, I think he definitely still would have won. I just wish I would have been able to pull that off. So we lost that round because, I forget, I think Trevor also lost the mirror match? I can't remember. Round 3, we played against Kami House, which we again lost, but I believe Marcus lost his match and Trevor won his. And so it all came down to me versus Jan Rivera, who made top 16 in singles. Again, congrats to him. I hope I pronounced your name right. He was playing Janemba. And our match was so close. It's probably my most fun match of the weekend, in all honesty. Jan's a really great guy, so is the rest of his team. We had a lot of fun talking to him. Game 1, he actually had Chrono in his deck. He was mainboarding it. But he was only playing 1 of with Toki Tokis. And his Chrono was in his life, so that helped me out a lot. And the Burst Bardock is way better against Janemba, where they're fueling your yard with Overwhelm, or with cards, so you can use Overwhelm a lot easier. He won game 1, I got game 2, and he kind of blew me out of the water game 3, it felt like. It was a little close, but to me it felt like a wash, because I just couldn't get his life total low. Let's see, or maybe I won game 1, he won games 2, 3, it's hard to remember, it was a long weekend. Round 4, I won versus Janemba. I don't really remember a whole lot from this round. I just remember they also had Shenron Gogeta on their team. So Janemba did not have Cronoa or Striving Goku, so I just blew it out the water. Round 5, I played against a Yamcha Chain Attack Zeno deck, where I lost game 2, I believe it was, to Yamcha at 100%. Card's really good. And then I won game 3. He had a really big hand, so I debated going for game. I had played a Power Overseeing Time, and he after-imaged its attack, giving it minus 10k for the turn. But my hand was decent, and I was just over the day already. We were already eliminated, so it didn't really matter. So I just decided to untap it with Broly and swing again for 10,000 double strike and just drop my hand on it. And luckily, he had no super combos in his hand, and since he was tapped out, he couldn't combo over it. So I managed to win game 3 with a 10,000 power double striker. That was pretty cool. So we ended teams at 3-2. We got 27th, I believe it was, which isn't great, but, it could have been worse. We could have placed not top 32, so, I mean, there's that. Moving over to singles, I did play Shenron Gogeta again. It's pretty similar to my build in Atlanta. 3 Striving Goku, just because I respect Red a whole lot. 4 Goku, 4 at all costs, is pretty standard. I did move the 1 of Final Explosion Vegeta to the main board. It's another Union target, which is useful, and I really do like it game 1 against Janemba. The 4 energy turn allows me to play Double Figure Majesty. This is a turn we don't have a lot going on, and it's nice having that attacker that goes to the bottom of the deck against Janemba. 2 Gogeta 5 is staple, really good against the black Demigra deck, and especially the Vegeta Baby deck. 3 Gogeta 7. 2 Bulma, just because I really respect Janemba. 4 Super Combo, 2 Purunga, 3 Figure Majesty. I just prefer 3 over 2. 2 feels inconsistent to me. I don't know how people do it. 1 Demigra, 4 Bean, 4 Objection, 7 Dragon Balls, 3 Power Bursts, just because I like having a negate backup after I tap out for Gogeta 7, just in case it wasn't enough. Or like they draw Time Magic or Mafuba. And 3 World Peace. Sideboard, 2 Lisa's Coercion, I just like having extra negates. 3 Mafuba, because I expected more of the mirror match this time than in Atlanta. A third copy of Gogeta 5. This was mainly for Vegeta Baby, which I never played against, so it never came in. 3-3 on the Krillin Goku package. I completely stole this idea from Kevin Castillo from DBZ Dudes. That guy's great. I played him at Nats. He's a great guy. It's a really good idea on his part. It just makes the Broly Height of Mastery matchup winnable when it's normally not. And then 3 Crisis Crusher Son Goku, because I was really respecting Red and Storm. But come to find out, this just doesn't really help enough against Storm to be that useful. So I kind of regret Crisis Crusher. And since I didn't play against Height of Mastery, I definitely regret the Gokus and Krillins. Also, I regret almost my entire sideboard. Just based on my matchups. It was bad. So, let's see. Singles. Round 1, I lost in the mirror match. I lost the dice roll, so you pretty much lose when you go second in the mirror match as long as everybody hits their things on curve. And then game 2, I tried to go in when I shouldn't have because I didn't see the combo in time, and I just assumed he was going to combo me out next turn. And he wouldn't have, so I should have just sat tight, but I got impatient and just lost because I was bad. Round 2, I lost to Broly Storm playing 4 Shugesh, and I'm not playing Cronoa, so that felt bad. But even without Shugesh, Broly Storm is such a bad matchup for this deck that I don't think it would have made a difference. Game 2, I even went first Crisis Crusher into Striving Goku, and it just wasn't enough. They just applied too much pressure for us to deal with. Round 3, now, okay, keep in mind, I was probably going to drop after that, going 0-2, but Marcus was 2-0, so I was going to be there anyway, so I just kept playing. And top 50% got extra promo packs, so why not? Round 3, I managed to win against a Mono Blue Bardock's crew deck. Round 4, I played the Mirror against former GnG teammate Ross Phillips. I won the dice roll. And I believe he whiffed the combo game 2. He didn't have it on curve, so that was unfortunate for him. That's basically what happened to me round 1. Round 5, I played against a starter deck Gogeta deck that was mono blue. It was basically just a Gogeta 7 control deck. And then round 6, I played against James Collins from Team Majin, whose Dende deck profile we uploaded earlier this week, and was able to secure the win there to put myself at 4-2 just to get some extra promo packs and stuff. There was a lot of 4-2s though. I placed real low for 4-2. That happens though when you lose in the early rounds. Your tiebreakers are really bad. Typically your opponent match win percentage isn't as high because the people you lost to in the early rounds don't have a good day and it drops that percentage real bad. So that's unfortunate, but you know, whatever. Things happen. Placing well at every event is impossible. Not even the best players in this game top every single event. Not even the best players in Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, you name it, top every single event. You know, you can't do well all the time. That's something you just have to remind yourself whenever you don't perform up to expectations. You know, not even LSV tops every single event. If I remember correctly, the percentage rate for even like the top players in Magic the Gathering, for them to like top and do well at tournaments, is like 60-something%. So, you know, just something you always have to remind yourself and not get down on yourself. You know, there's always the next event. So, that's it for my deck profiles and my tournament reports. I didn't have an issue with like any opponent I played this week. I think they were all pretty decent guys. Even if I did, I wouldn't want to go too much in detail about it, simply because I know, you know, as a content creator, I don't want to throw people under the bus. You know, it's not a situation I want to get in. But the event was great. I think PPG did a good job. Sunday was kind of rough because it started super late and it went on really late. It didn't feel like the rounds were moving as fast as they should. But I think that had more to do with around the tournament starting late. I think had more to do with the fact that the way Bandai did pre-registration, they had to drop so many players from the event. And then the time in between rounds, I think, had a lot to do with people coming to this event that normally wouldn't come to a regional and not knowing how to properly do match slips and things like that. So, again, it's just out of PPG's control. I'm not going to hold too much against them when every other event they do has been fantastic. So I think the event was great. It was nice seeing a bunch of my friends again and talking to a bunch of guys, like talking to Anthony Hernandez, talking to the guys at PPG, talking to George about GOAT format, talking to like Ben Stevens, Jordan Markle, a whole bunch of guys, seeing people, you know, from our area that live like an hour or two east of us that we don't normally see a whole lot. RJ, Danny, you know, all y'all. I'm trying to make sure I'm not forgetting anybody. Seeing our teammate Dylan and his friends, Rory and Robert. You know, Dylan is on the team, but he lives in South Florida, so we don't really see him too much because we live on the northwest tip of Florida, so we're basically in a whole other country. But the event was great. I kind of regret playing Shenron Gogeta. The format was a lot different than Atlanta, and it wasn't really what I expected. But at the same time, you know, it is what it is. Set 6 is here now, so we'll get all kinds of new decks and strategies going. I am really excited for the Red Gogeta deck. That's probably what I'm going to focus on first, and the Kid Goku Vanilla deck looks really fun. But that's it for me, guys. This was the decks I played in Atlanta, my matchups, tournament report, highlight tournament, whatever. But anyways, guys, that's it for me. I'll see y'all later, and stay elite.